Alright, it's been a busy week, but I finally had some time to finish my update on Pikmin 4, my progress. There was lots of fireworks and stuff. I did my walking for the week, so if you guys are interested in how much I usually walk in a week, here it is. Other than that, let's get started. Basically continued off where I left off last time, and in this video actually, I thought what was interesting is the difficulty actually increased. I heard a lot of you had difficulties with the demo, so maybe this is a good example of what the whole game is like in general. So in the beginning I decided to go back to the previous area that I played, the blossoming Arcadia, because there's more to explore as you can see, and immediately something new happened.
You okay?
So like it says there, the dog can swim now. You would think a dog would be able to swim just by default, huh? Isn't that why they call it doggy paddles usually? But that's a good, I guess, feature. It opens up the areas that you can actually explore, and just in case you don't have a lot of, I guess, blue Pikmin, that could help you transport to different areas. Although the challenge is still there, like attacking enemies if you don't have enough Pikmin, then it basically takes a while. And as you can see, that was actually a theme for this time that I started playing too, because I seem to lack a lot of Pikmin in general. But lots of new enemies to explore, and you can see here immediately, oh, here goes some of my Pikmin. And here was another example where I found an item, which is the onion here. However, at first, you can see I didn't have enough Pikmin, so I actually went back to try to grab some more. And when I did get back, as you can see here, I thought, okay, great, it can bring it down, I'll walk it over. But nope, as you can see, it refuses to come down. And that's because there's water on the bottom, for example. So you need blue Pikmin, and I didn't have enough. So again, that was the theme of the game for me when I started playing, was I just didn't have enough certain color Pikmin. And as usual, once I collected everything, I actually got enough energy to explore different areas again. And these people that you save, actually, they give you little side quests, as you just saw there, so you can use them to unlock bonuses and buy gear. So I went to the new area, Serene Shores. If you thought I didn't have enough blue Pikmin before, just look at how much water there is in this place. Already not a good sign, but we have to explore. And here was the first example. You can see there's an item here. And first I used a yellow Pikmin, but as usual, they can't walk through the water. And since I only had 2 blue Pikmin, you can see it was really slow. I had to go back and forth a lot just because, again, I lacked the blue Pikmin. And you guys know what this is. So this is the Dandori level. They get progressively a little bit more difficult sometimes, just more puzzly, that's the right way to say. In this case, there was just enemies and items that had a specific bonus, so if you grabbed a certain type that displayed in the middle, then you would get more points. I found this one actually to be kind of easier than the previous ones for some odd reason. Maybe they just made it really easy to get you used to it. But either way, I got more points in the computer, you can see, almost by a landslide. 153 to 32. And there were more obstacles, rolling boulders. So there's an enemy here that pops up. Whoa! And just like that, I lost a Pikmin. That's one of the stressful things in this game, I guess, is losing your little buddies. And as you can see here, basically the pool disappears at a certain time. So it's kind of an interesting gameplay mechanic that encourages you to explore levels during different time periods. And more examples of the difficulty. You can see this enemy here. What you're supposed to do is throw the Pikmin on the back of the tail, as you can see, And with that, you can freeze it, stun it, and then attack it. Not too bad overall, but again, I still lack certain colored Pikmin. And as I explored further, I thought, hey, this is interesting. What's going on here? You can see there was a blue onion. Actually, that's what I needed because if you guys remember, I need more blue Pikmin, but unfortunately, it's water, so I can't get in. And then when I went to this level that I discovered, at first I was like, okay, great, new place to explore. But you get a warning here, for example, saying it will be hard to explore without a headlamp. So I guess that's the game's indication, you better not go there. So I found a different place. And this was actually kind of interesting too, because here there was tons of water everywhere. And I just don't think I was equipped enough to handle this stage, which you can see. So I brought in a lot of red Pikmin, but you can see there's water everywhere, which made it kind of difficult again. Same thing, these Pikmin can't go through the water. And as I went to the third level, this is kind of the funny part you'll see later on anyways. I was wandering everywhere, wondering, how do I pass this stage? It looks like there's a gate there, so the assumption is you hit a switch to open it. So again, I wonder, how do you get across this thing? What's going on? I just randomly threw this Pikmin there. I was like, hey, what is this? They can actually build a bridge when you throw them up. Oh, maybe that's a hint. And they can actually go right through the gate. So once they finished, oh, fantastic, but how do I get through? I can't walk across. Ultimately, I just exited the level because my time was running out for the day in real life anyways, to come back later because I assumed, okay, maybe I needed a certain Pikmin or an item. You guys will find it hilarious afterwards, but with the item in mind, that made me want to spend some of these currency to actually get more gear, because I've actually been avoiding them in terms of a lot of the upgrades. So I started to upgrade my doggy paddle, for example, and hopefully buying the gear would help me in the game as well. That's the hope anyways. So I went back to the previous area as I assumed, okay, maybe I missed a lot, because usually it shouldn't be that, I guess, complicated in this type of game anyways. They should be pretty straightforward. So I started to go back and do all these side missions, if that's what you want to call it, to try to collect more items and hopefully get more Pikmin. So here are some levels that I missed before. Looks kind of scary actually. Kingdom of Beasts. So these levels I'm clearly prepared for. They want fire, for example, red Pikmin. I have lots of those. So here's an example of you may want to explore the current area before going to the next as much as you can anyways, because you'll probably miss a lot. And sure enough, I did. You can see here, new Pikmin. What is it? The rock Pikmin.
Oatchi.
So usually the rock Pikmin in previous series, they're usually very strong. They can break hard objects, or many times I think one thing is funny is you could throw them on enemies, and since they're so strong they can flatten them, for example. Like here, you can throw them and they'll be the ones to be able to break down these hard walls here. And when it came to this enemy, I thought, okay, it's going to be a challenge. Charge! But you can see here, once it starts smashing it, it gets defeated just like that. It kind of shows you how much stronger these rock Pikmin are to the other Pikmin. There's a lot of enemies, and as you can see here, they're getting more and more aggressive as you progress through the game. Kind of a reminder here too, where you can actually change between you and the dog in terms of completing puzzles, like here, take control of one or the other. And here was kind of, I guess, the scary part, or the stressful part, which people would find in this game. You can see there's number 2, so I assume, okay, there's going to be 2 enemies here. What are they? I don't know. I was prepared for it, but I wasn't completely prepared for what I anticipated. You can see this huge enemy here. So first, I wanted to just call them back. I was too late, and look at that. I literally lost all those Pikmin. So basically, I had these rock Pikmin left for the most part to battle, but imagine losing all your Pikmin just like that. That's one of the challenges in this game too. Overall, it wouldn't have been too hard if I knew it would have done that. Because as you can see, if you would just charge it in the beginning with enough Pikmin, there probably would have been enough to defeat it, so you didn't have to lose every single Pikmin like I just did there almost. And that's that. Although lots of casualties, and you can see what happens because of that. I don't have enough Pikmin to lift everything out. And we found the doctor. So as you can see, I didn't have enough Pikmin. Even with the dog's help, I was off by 1. That's unfortunate. So everything else I couldn't collect. So what I ended up doing actually was I re-entered the level with a full squad, and with that I was able to carry the rest of the enemies and items and get a completed stage. So there was more levels here, and here was an example of how buying the items was actually useful, because this is actually a dark stage, and with, for example, the headlamp, like they say, you can actually look ahead. So you should actually purchase those items when you can in some ways. I know I've just been saving them. Just another cool example here too in terms of collecting an item. Here was the Game Boy Micro. There's something about the portable systems, I guess, for Nintendo, huh? Putting them in this game. And again, more challenging enemies as well. How does that huge item come out of that small monster, so to speak? And here's the example of coming back when you actually have certain types of Pikmin. Like here, I couldn't get that before, but now that I had enough blue Pikmin, I was able to collect this new onion. And with the doctor, I guess we can now save these guys, turn them back into, I guess, a normal person. So I decided to upgrade my dog's buff, which enables him to carry more load. And as you can see, when you actually max out one category, it goes to a next one. Like here it says, learn super buff. So I started to upgrade that a little bit just because of my previous experience where if you don't have enough Pikmin, then you're stuck. And as well, since the dog can swim, I assume later on the dog could possibly carry things out of the water too. And this is interesting. Apparently there's a nighttime challenge in this game. So what the story was, the doctor said you need to collect these materials so that he can make medicine or a cure to actually help those people that have all that grass stuff on their heads and all that. Kind of spooky, huh? Lots of enemies. So here he's explaining to you your goal is to protect this item, the Lumino. It's kind of like a lot of enemies, they come, so you have to attack them before they get there, and they can show you here how you do that. Like, what is this? Something new. It's a new Pikmin. So for the people who play Pikmin Bloom and haven't played, again, the main Pikmin series, I guess you can expect this to come out in Bloom. It's the Glow Pikmin. And here comes nighttime. This is why you want to get out of the area normally at nighttime. Every enemy becomes, I guess you could say, crazy. So with these Glow Pikmin, you use them just like the other Pikmin. You throw them to collect items, and as they bring it back, they'll create more Pikmin. And as well, you can see on the map, there's a bunch of enemies coming towards you, so you have to defeat them and protect the Lumino. My assumption is if they get to that area in the middle and they whack it, then you basically lose and you won't get any, I guess, medicine. But this was actually pretty straightforward. One funny note though, these enemies, they didn't go across like a bridge, for example, near the middle, because I actually didn't bother to explore further in the first area. I wonder if that actually helped. So mission complete. What do you get? That's what you came for, the extract. I can imagine this getting really hectic later on as you go further in the game. And with that, again, as you can see here, you can use it to cure people. And as you proceed through the game, you can see more difficult enemies like here, and as usual, I guess, expect this to happen. Lose more Pikmin. That's one of the challenges in this game too. And more Dandori challenges. This one I actually messed up here because you can see I'm throwing the Pikmin there to attack the enemies because you actually need to defeat 3 of them for that gate to open. And I'm wondering, okay, I guess the way you do it is you have to wait until they come close enough and then you throw the Pikmin. This is a mistake too. You'll see later, it kind of relates to how I got stuck in that water level with that gate that couldn't close down, for example. And some of the fruits get really large, as you can see here. 50 Pikmin it requires to carry this. Not enough, so you send a dog. Remember how I upgraded it? That's an example of how it can become really useful for you to help get all the fruits and items. So here it shows you can select the glow Pikmin, throw it out, and with that, it basically lights up the area. I didn't need it because I had the headlamp. And the game became a little bit more tricky in terms of just a puzzle element like there. And here's an example. Remember how I didn't know what to do before? You could literally just get off the dog and walk through. Literally, that's all you had to do when it comes to the game. I'm just so used to being on the dog. What a simple error. And here there was one of these flowers where if you throw them in, it basically turns it into a Pikmin again. Which Pikmin is this? You can see here actually, it looks like it's the pink Pikmin. And I was figuring out at first, okay, what do? I just rammed into it. So for those who play Bloom, you might remember these pink Pikmin being kind of the fastest in being able to collect an item. In this game, for example, in this series, they could actually collect items, just fly through everything as well, so it makes it a lot more convenient, but they are the weakest. And here's an example of a puzzle. What you're supposed to do here is you throw the Pikmin and they go on the little conveyor belt. As they get onto one of them, you have to hit the switch to reverse it. So with that, they'll get blown all the way into the direction that you want them to go. You can see here they're sliding down that little pole, and once they reach to this box here, basically they'll push it down, which enables you to get across. So just an example of some of the puzzle elements in this game. They're not as complicated as something like in Zelda, but nonetheless it's there as a challenge. And then this boss is kind of, I guess, interesting, if that's what you want to say. It's supposed to look like a disco ball, I believe. That's the intent. So what you need to do is just throw a bunch of Pikmin into the middle. You try to defeat it before it defeats you. But you can see kind of its interesting attack method in terms of what it does. It kind of puts them in a confusion mode, if that's the right way to say it. and then they start dancing, I guess. So other than that, it took actually a while. There's a lot of dancing Pikmin, just trying to get them to snap out of it, and then afterwards just rinse and repeat. And then here it is, the item. So area complete. My main takeaway from this one was, again, when it comes to those gates, you just need to get off the dog. So I went back to the area I was stuck in before. That's exactly all you had to do. Like here, with the little gate, just get off the dog and walk across with your Pikmin instead. And then with that, you can proceed to defeat the enemies and hit the switch. Can you believe it? That's what I missed. Another example too, where the dog having its extra strength is actually helpful. Like here, I didn't have enough blue Pikmin to go through the water, but the dog can actually do that. And as you progress through the level, you can actually collect more blue Pikmin, actually. Mission complete. And with that, I was able to go back to that area with the blue onion and collect that. This is exactly what I needed just to be able to create more blue Pikmin. Because this one actually changed the color of the onion. You can actually see in the background how some of those petals, for example, or items, they actually turn blue now, so I can use them to create more blue Pikmin. That's really helpful. Another example of how you need a lot of Pikmin and a strong pet actually to lift out some of these items, like 100 strength here. I was like, oh my goodness, not enough. I actually had enough Pikmin, but some of them were stranded into other areas, so I had to come back another time to collect it. Just another example how upgrading the strength of the dog is actually useful in this game anyways. So all in all, an interesting gameplay experience, and you can see again the little stuff that you could miss. Just getting off that dog to go across the gate. You actually learn that from other challenges as shown, so it might be a good idea for you to actually complete the existing area first as much as you can anyways before proceeding. But either way, just having a lot of fun still. I'm wondering if I could actually finish this game before the next community day for Pikmin Bloom. It's only going to be, I guess, a short while longer, and then who knows when, another 10 years or something like that until a new Pikmin comes out. Other than that, still collecting all my gold seedlings and all that for Pikmin Bloom again for the next community day. I usually open them up during that time all at once. I find it less, I guess, stressful too, where you have a bunch of them at once so you can see at least in one day whether or not you got everything or not. As well, continuing to play Pikmin 4. Again, just for those who don't get an opportunity to play the main series, this will give you kind of an insight in terms of what the new Pikmin are like, features and characters, who maybe you'll see in the future when it comes to things like Pikmin Bloom.